Now on Tech Tonight, Diplo Disturbance. Members of the Blacksburg community are still voicing their concerns after the Pink concert.
Racism relations. Virginia Tech students come together to discuss the issues affecting campus.
Nearly 3 weeks after the Diplo concert, people are still reeling about the noise. Welcome to Tech Tonight. I'm Muhammad Ali.
And I'm Rebecca Choate. The Blacksburg community is still feeling the effects from the Diplo concert hosted on campus last month and took their complaints to the latest town gown meeting held last Thursday. While many students reportedly felt vibrations on either sides of campus, Blacksburg police were getting disturbance complaints from as far as 5 miles away. Mayor Ron Rordam, who has been in office for 10 years, told the Collegiate Times he has never seen this many complaints from Blacksburg residents in his 30 years of living here. Councilmember John Bush took to Facebook to call the Victoria's Secret Pink Party an abuse of Virginia Tech's relation to the town of Blacksburg. Virginia Tech and the greater Blacksburg area put on town gown meetings 6 times a year to hold forums on the latest issues on campus and in the community. The town gown meeting was held in the great room of Ambler Johnston Hall on campus. Special guests included Police Chief Anthony Wilson and VT Police Chief Kevin Faust to talk about safety, security, and policing.
Wallace Hall at Virginia Tech has been closed Monday through Wednesday due to a water break. The Virginia Tech Adult Day services were also closed. The Child Development Center for Learning Research remained open, but with limitations. Parents who have students at the center were notified with the information concerning the water break. The classes normally held in Wallace were moved to other locations on campus. The classes are held in classroom buildings all over, including Squires, McBride Hall, Lytton Reeves, and Goodwin, to name a few. Wallace will be cleared to reopen when it's cleared by the Environmental Health and Safety Management. We've seen unusually high temperatures for November this week, but what can people expect when they head to the polls on Tuesday?
Meteorologist Caitlin Purcell has a look at your full forecast. Caitlin?
Hello everyone, I'm Caitlin Purcell and I'm here to tell you that it looks like fall is finally here, hopefully for good this time. As we look at the highlights of this previous week, there have been notably high temperatures with most days reaching the upper 70s, which is significant for the month of November. These sunny and dry conditions ended Thursday night into Friday morning as we saw some showers across the region. This, however, seems to be the last of the rain for at least the next couple of days. A high-pressure system will be settling over the area by this evening, bringing fair and dry conditions for the upcoming week. As for tonight, we'll see perhaps the lowest temperatures we've seen yet this season at a very cool 37 degrees with clear skies overhead. Tomorrow you can expect to see fall-like conditions, including highs in the mid-60s and a light breeze. As I mentioned earlier, this high-pressure system is moving into our region, and as you can see, its prevailing conditions will remain for the duration of the next week. The system will allow for consistent highs in the 60s up until Wednesday, when some clouds move into the area. This, however, won't alter the temperatures. That's all for your weekly weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Purcell.
As the weather gets colder, the university makes adjustments for the changing season. Reporter Melissa Cisneros has more.
Fall is beginning with unusual warm temperatures that is affecting the student body living on campus. Since it is now autumn, there are falling leaves everywhere, but fortunately the physical plant, which is a VT department-run program, cleans the leaves all around the 2,600 acres of campus. According to Craig Gilbert, the Associate Director for Planning and Business Services, the heating systems are an all-or-nothing steam systems, so they can't be turned on and off throughout the day or week like in a home thermostat. Christopher Rodolfo, a Payne Hall RA, speaks on how his students are reacting by the heating system being turned on now.
They mostly about the heating. The heating being they have a mode that's set up in the buildings that changes from like air conditioning to heating at a certain time in the year. This year was a little bit different, as like the weather was a lot warmer than they expected. So when they turned the heating on earlier, it was kind of we've had a lot of people complaining about like it just being hot in general in the dorms.
Once the weather stabilizes with regular cold nights, the heating system is turned on for the rest of the winter and remains on in the dorms even throughout the winter break. Although warm temperatures are strange, students will soon see winter is coming and will be grateful for the heating systems. Reporting from Payne Hall, Melissa Cisneros, Tech Tonight.
Class rings are one of Virginia Tech's many traditions, and students have been designing and purchasing unique class rings since 1911. For the past few years, alumni have been donating their gold class rings to be melted down and incorporated in class rings for current students. Meanwhile, Virginia Tech Magazine is finding new ways to bring alumni and current students together with the hashtag FoundVTRings. In its latest feature published on November 1st, the magazine published stories about alumni who have lost their rings and later found them, sometimes decades later. This fall, Dick Jeffries, a Virginia Tech 1974 graduate, lost his father's class ring from 1934 while in Lane Stadium. After searching for hours throughout the stadium, Jeffries and his son declared the ring lost forever until he received an email from the Alumni Association. Someone had reportedly found the ring and returned it. Student programs took the time to find and get in contact with the family. Jeffrey's son sent the story to the magazine, saying, quote, "I'm as happy to be a Hokie as I have ever been." To read more about ring anecdotes, you can go to Virginia Tech Magazine's latest issue or their website at vtmag.vt.edu.
On Monday, Virginia Tech police released an email detailing another sexual assault allegation on campus. According to their report, the incident occurred on October 27th at approximately 11:30 in the evening. It allegedly happened at the Pi Lambda Phi house off of Oak Lane. The department states that both the victim and the assailant are students. However, they did not know each other prior to the assault. Along with the email, which was sent out to everyone with a vt.edu email address, the police addressed common issues and warning signs revolving around sexual assault cases. They also reminded victims that it is never their fault and there are several resources on campus, such as the Women's Center and the Cook Counseling Center, that can help them.
A discussion of change. The NAACP at Virginia Tech hosted a session to talk about how to understand race issues on campus. Reporter Max Caruth has more.
I'm outside the Squire Student Center, where in the Commonwealth Ballroom, the NAACP is holding a conversation and presentation on modern-day racial issues. On this second annual Racism, a Call to Action event, Devon Lee, faculty advisor of the NAACP, hosted a community forum in which students and faculty members interacted with one another to discuss issues pertaining to representative minority populations on campus.
This is our second annual Racism, a Call to Action, and the purpose of the event originally was simply to give people an opportunity to actually do something of value that would lead towards a more inclusive campus.
Each table which participants sat at held information and venue for discussion of different groups, such as the LGBT or people of color communities, and the misrepresentation they both faced on and off campus.
We felt that giving people an opportunity to collaborate, giving people an opportunity to generate ideas and put their own resources and agency together would create an opportunity that didn't currently exist.
I'm Max Caruth with VTTV, keeping you informed.
Coming up in entertainment news, big changes are coming to one residence hall. Find out what's in store.
Plus, now that Halloween is officially over, people are now getting into the holiday spirit. We'll show you how Hokies are helping one another. Next.
Students came together to host a cultural show. Welcome to your entertainment news. I'm Riley Wyant.
And I'm Lauren Pack. The annual Asian American Student Union hosted its 2016 Culture Show last Saturday. The union is comprised of several student groups, including the Chinese American Society, Korean American Student Association, Vietnamese Student Association, and Filipino American Student Association. The cultural show was held in the Graduate Life Center Auditorium and showcased dances and performances from each organization. Performances are meant to showcase a combination of cultural and traditional cultures of each of the countries. Highlights included a Chinese dragon dance, traditional Korean fan dance, and Filipino tinkling dance. The AASU puts on a cultural show that unites all of its organizations and supports the individual culture shows for each of the organizations in the spring.
Virginia Tech's largest residence hall has seen some big changes over the past couple of years. Pritchard Hall houses more than 1,000 students on campus. Virginia Tech took it upon themselves to make this building feel more like home for students. The first small changes that came to the residence hall included painting, carpeting, and renovating the bathrooms. Pritchard has expanded onto bigger changes such as the creation of air-conditioned study area spaces with large flat-screen TVs. Now, many living learning communities such as Thrive, Innovate, and Serve are based in Pritchard. By incorporating all of these amenities and opportunities into the building, the overall living experience is enhanced for many students.
Students on campus last Saturday may have seen paper airplanes flying around the pylons. For those who missed it, Studio Collective hosted Paper Pilots, a paper airplane contest described as an aeronautical experience in design and flight. Studio Collective is a relatively new creative magazine by one of the School of Architecture and Design, but the event was open to students of all majors. Entries were judged in 4 categories, including distance, aesthetic, innovation, and size. Plans were made of only paper and could focus on creative or technical design. Students were eligible to leave with takeaway prizes, including a ride on a private jet around Blacksburg, stickers and posters from Studio Collective, and Amazon gift cards.
It's the holiday season and Virginia Tech is getting into the giving spirit. The Graduate Life Center will host a donation drive called the Little Hokie Hand-Me-Down event. During the drive, graduate students with children up to age 10 can stop by to check out the donated items. The program was created to help Virginia Tech students with families, whether or not they live on campus. Bags will be provided at the entrance to carry as many items as the students can fit. The center began accepting donations on November 1st and will continue until November 15th. Donations can be dropped off at the Graduate Life Center Welcome Desk or at the Virginia Tech Women's Center. The drive will take place in the GLC Multipurpose Room.
Computer science isn't always about math and numbers. Muhammad Ali has more in this week's Tech Corner.
Welcome to this week's edition of Tech Corner with Muhammad Ali. Virginia Tech's parallel computing sculpture, Seymour, was recently named one of the top projects in the world. The project was featured second in the Magpie magazine, a magazine dedicated to projects and work relating to the Raspberry Pi. Seymour is a project that folds together art and engineering to distill abstract concepts in computing into tangible experience. It is a kinetic sculpture that showcases the beauty of parallel algorithms through the correlating movement of a combination of 256 Raspberry Pis. Raspberry Pi is a credit card-sized computer that can be used to make small projects and used to learn programming or development. Think of it as being able to visualize what a computer is doing. You are able to see the algorithms being executed through the motions of a sculpture. The project translates data movement through a living sculpture that can physically represent the computations. The sculpture also holds a record for the most Raspberry Pis working together in parallel, noted by the magazine in its October 2016 edition. The magazine also said, quote, "The coolest thing about the piece was how each panel covering each Pi would move depending on how much computation power is being used," end quote. That's all for Tech Corner with Muhammad Ali. See you next time.
Coming up in your Hokie sports news, the Virginia Tech football team faced off against the Panthers. We'll show you how they did.
Plus, the women's soccer team had senior night. Find out how they fared next.
The women's soccer team faced off against Demon Deacons. Welcome to your Hokie Sports News. I'm Nick DeSimone.
And I'm Connor Doherty. On senior night, the women's soccer team got past Wake Forest 1-0.
Fittingly, senior forward Muriel Tiernan scored the only goal of the match in the 36th minute. Her 10th goal of the year, Tiernan now holds the program record for most game-winning goals in a career with 23. 5 of them come in this season alone. The Hokies' defense was impressive, holding Wake Forest to just 5 shots for the entire game, finishing with a shot advantage of 13-5. Freshman goalkeeper Manny McGlynn played a worry-free game, only having to make 1 save to post the team's 7th shutout of this season. The Hokies almost took the lead inside the first 20 minutes, as junior forward Lila Gray's shot was barely saved by Wake Forest goalkeeper Lindsey Preston, who had 6 saves. Despite winning, the Hokies were eliminated from ACC tournament contention. However, they still have a chance at making it into the NCAA tournament thanks to their winning record on the season.
Last Thursday night, the 5-2 Hokies traveled to Heinz Field for a matchup against the 5-2 Pittsburgh Panthers. Virginia Tech came into the game 0-4 in their last 4 meetings at Heinz Field, and this was a crucial game in the Coastal standings. In the end, it was a high-scoring affair for both teams, as Gerard Evans led the Hokies to 556 total yards of offense and locked up a 39-36 win to keep pace with North Carolina for the Coastal Division crown. Evans torched the Panthers' defense with a career-high 406 passing yards as he connected with Isaiah Ford, Cam Phillips, and Bucky Hodges for over 100 yards each, one of which was a 16-yard touchdown reception from Ford, who passed Antonio Freeman for the school record for most touchdown catches in school history. Speaking of records, Virginia Tech kicker Joey Sly tied the ACC record for most field goals in a single game as he split the uprights 6 times Thursday night and accounted for 21 total points. Both teams were quite one-dimensional as running back James Conner paced the Panthers' offense by rushing for 141 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Hokies were satisfied to pick on a battered Pittsburgh secondary and did most of their damage through the air. The Virginia Tech pass attack had a tremendous effect on this game, as seemingly every play through the air was a deep throw down the field for a big gain. The Hokies, however, were able to run the ball when it mattered most, as Cam Phillips' short yardage run sealed the game for the Hokies. With the win, the Hokies improved to 6-2, including 4-1 in the ACC.
The Hokies men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the ACC championships, held at NC State last Friday. Behind a great performance by Kennedy in the 6K race, the women's team finished in third place, the best finish in program history. The women's team's best finish before this year was fifth in both 2006 and 2007. Kennedy's 11th place finish was the best for her career as well. Along with Kennedy, the Hokies were led by Lauren Berman's 29th place finish and Abigail Motley's 32nd place finish. The men's team, led by Andrew Geiser and Daniel Joskowick, finished in fourth place for the second year in a row. Since joining the ACC, the men's team has finished fifth or better 7 different times. Geiser and Joskowick finished 16th and 17th, respectively. Diego Zarate helped the men's team as well with his 23rd place finish, while Brent Musselman rounded out the top 4 best finishes for the Hokies with his 34th place finish.
The Hokies volleyball team had a rough outing against NC State on Sunday afternoon at Castle Coliseum, as they fell 3-0 to the Wolfpack. Now 8-15, Virginia Tech has dropped their last 7 matches and have only 8 remaining in the season. The story of the match was the awaited return of sophomore Reagan Mitchell after being sidelined with an injury for nearly 2 months. Mitchell posted 5 assists and 2 digs in her return and looks to reach her pre-injury form by the end of the season. After losing the first set 25-16, junior Stacy Christie and senior Amanda McKenzie notched consecutive blocks late in the match while trying to even the score. However, the Wolfpack proved to be too much and pulled away to win the second set by 6. The third and final match wasn't much different, as NC State took the final game 25-16 to complete the sweep. Sophomore Jayla Tolbert finished with the team-high hitting percentage, and Amanda McKenzie tallied 12 kills on the night and 897 for her career. The Hokies will travel to Georgia Tech and Clemson this weekend to try and put a halt to their losing streak, as they look to crack double-digit wins this season.
Coming up, we'll have a final look at your forecast.
Stay tuned.
I'm here at Burris Hall, surrounded by the beautiful fall foliage. As I said earlier, I think fall's here to stay for good this time. After a week of above average temperatures reaching the 70s, we're going to be cooling back down to the mid to upper 60s for the rest of the upcoming week. This high pressure system will bring us dry and sunny conditions, so if you have a chance, get outside and enjoy the weather before it gets super cold again. That's all I have for you this week. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Purcell.